bit late tonight. Good evening, everybody. We're 1 minute late tonight. We've done it for 8:30 because we don't want to compete with EastEnders anymore. Because we don't want the viewers' ratings dropping on the EastEnders. Even though we're not competing on the BBC. You know, we were taking a few viewers away, at least 10. Good evening, Darren, Angela, and obviously Paul Howard. And together
in the background.
And a ghost in the background. We've got a few things coming up tonight, so we may overrun the hour as normal. We've got Paul did an investigation with Paranormal, Julia, and so forth, and Waverley Abbey, quite a few turn. How many of you was there, Paul?
10, maybe.
No, a bit more than that.
Maybe a bit more.
Decent. So
yeah, it was a good turnout.
A bit about that in a second. And I've done an unplanned visit to Lincoln Castle. I'll just do a quick bit on that, and then hopefully we have a young lad come on in a second. I know he's watching now. I will send you the link, Daniel. Don't worry. And he's only 14. He's gonna talk to us about his experiences in capturing Bigfoot, I believe. A little bit about him. I started when I was like 6-7 years of age. So there's no time or age to start this, yeah. But anyway, we'll start off with Paul, and obviously Angela didn't come up. She was a bit boring. She was indoors.
Somewhere, wasn't she?
Well, it was a pretty bad cold because I know I gave it to her.
Right. You didn't mind giving things away, do you, mate? You?
Oh, mate, I was so generous. You know,
Sounds like it.
I do believe sharing's caring.
Yeah.
You know, when you're covered up in the bed at night. Anyway, enough about that.
Yeah, enough of that.
You know what I mean, Jen, don't you?
I wasn't listening. What?
What, the ghost in the background, you mean? You're supposed to be listening, girl.
I'm making apple crumble.
She's making an apple crumble.
Jen, we spoke to you a second ago, love. There's no need to keep on, all right? You can take your teeth back out now, love, and make your crumble, all right? Do your knitting or something, yeah?
Knitting, yeah.
We'll talk to you again in a minute, love, all right? Go back to sleep. Yeah. Get back in the kitchen. Anyway. She sounds completely different without her teeth in, doesn't she?
I think you're going to get a slap in a minute. I can see Angela building one. Oh, someone's echoing, yeah.
That'll be Luke. He likes to echo. Yeah. When he does his singing stuff, he never on YouTube. He never echoes. Do you notice that? Only on here.
Yeah, only on here. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Luke.
Hello.
What
you all right?
Cash.
Yeah.
Is that Johnny Cash?
Yeah.
Cash. Oh right. Okay. Yeah. My God, he's got his tooth.
He has.
Yeah.
No shadow figure in there, mate, anymore, is there?
No.
No.
Mind you, it's a bit wonky, isn't it?
Yeah.
A bit longer than the others, isn't it?
I know.
That's all the better to bite you with, Darren. That's what that is.
Yeah, I know. He keeps trying to kiss me and everything.
I heard that.
Yeah. Mind you, I'll tell you what. When we go to Waverley in the winter, he keeps me bum warm. Anyway.
Well, let's not go there, eh? Don't make him laugh in case he pops out.
Yeah. Will it pop out with it? No.
Might do.
How funny. Did you get it fitted today, Luke?
Yeah, it was today, yeah.
That's all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, the dentist bought it on Temu.
Yeah.
Get 14-day money back on that.
Unless you swallow it, of course.
Well, it might take 14 days to come out the other end then, mightn't it,
eh? Right, we're talking about the paranormal here, not the non-normal, but paranormal.
Non-normal, yeah. Yeah, everything non-normal.
I might change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not normal
Um,
Monday live.
Yeah, not normal Monday live. Yeah. So anyway, put my serious face back on. Yeah, so you had over 10 of you turned up at Waverley.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it was a good turnout by everybody. Met in the car park as normal. A couple of our friends, mine and Jen's friends, came. Had never done anything like that before, so it was nice for them to experience. Waverley. Obviously, Luke was there with Lynn, and there's quite a few of us, 10 or 11, maybe a little bit more. And then Luke G turned up with Sarah and a couple of friends.
Really?
They turned up. What time did they turn up, Luke? 10 o'clock, half 9?
Half nine maybe, yeah.
Half 9.
Yeah.
He turned up, and he'd never been there before. So he said to me, would you mind just quickly walking me around the ruins, just give him an idea what goes on? Of course, Jen and all of them were on the table.
Luke, is that you on now, mate, that just put that on? Because it doesn't come up with your name on here.
Yeah.
What you see on the screen now, Facebook user, that's all I know, bud. So take it back to Luke Gosling now.
Right.
Great, you were out, mate. Yes, it is. It's Luke Gosling, yep.
All right, cool.
Fantastic, you're out. Sorry I weren't there, mate. I was up in Lincoln attending to spirits up there.
Yeah, frothy spirits. So yeah, we know. Yeah, so Luke came with Sarah and a couple of their friends came with them. It's a very, very cold night, I must admit, and very damp. But me and Luke, I showed him around the cloisters where it was all original, and it dated back from 1100s and all of that type of stuff. And we walked around the corner to show him a few other bits. And both of us thought we saw someone walk past us, me and Luke, because we both looked at each other and said, "Oh, did you see that?" Luke could tell you. And we sort of looked at each other and went, "Well, yeah, it was like someone had walked across." So I said to him, that often happens here. You often see things move around, don't you? In the corner of your eye, and shadow figures. And I took him out the back where the concrete pillars are, by the river.
Yeah.
So we walked out there. I said, "Well, these are from the war, blah blah." We both looked at each other and run. We both run out of there because something wasn't right there. Luke could tell you, it felt awful, really, really bad.
Luke Gosling run. I don't believe you.
We both head out there. We've got to go. We've got to get out of here.
Well, you ran as well.
Yeah, I was right behind him.
Really?
He left me. Yeah, he left me. But we both turned and went, "We've got to get out, got to get out, got to get out." And we sort of hastily made our way out very, very quickly. And Luke said, "Oh, did you feel that?" And it was something not right there. So I don't know whether something's been summoned out the back there somewhere or something's happened, but we both looked at each other and hastily made a move out of that.
Where was that for?
As you go around the back of the cloisters and you go down towards the river and you've got the concrete triangles to stop the tanks coming over. Hello, Luke.
All right.
Oh, that's a funny old T-shirt. Anyway,
I know, right?
where the anti-tank concrete pillars are by the riverbed.
Yeah.
There, Luke could tell you. We both looked at each other and went, "Oh, no." And we both hastily made a move very, very quickly out of there because something didn't feel right, did it, Luke?
No, it was if somebody was like right in your face going, "Go
It was
away."
It was quite scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't nice at all.
But I say, when we were walking towards that area, we saw that what we thought was someone or a shadow walk across or in front of us. There, we both looked at each other and went, "Did you see that?" I looked at Lou. He looked at me and went, "I'm sure I've just seen someone walk across." And that's often what you find at Waverley, the corner of the eye shadows. But say, as we went out the back towards the river, that was not right there. Pardon?
What time was that?
What do you reckon, Lee? How long you been there? Half an hour or so?
Been there about half hour, so probably about 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
But, we both sort of, I don't know, we come to a really abrupt halt. Although we were apart from each other, We suddenly both stopped. I looked at Luke. He looked at me and went, no, 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 no. And we both hastily moved out of there. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there.
Yeah, it was just such a nasty feeling there. It was just really horrible.
Evening, Debbie. Debbie says evening.
Hi, Debbie.
Evening,
Welcome. Yeah, it was odd, wasn't it, Luke? Very, very odd.
It wasn't very nice, to say the least.
No, I don't know what's happened there. I've been there behind there with Luke before and not had an issue. But, you know, me and Luke S, we've been there and had a look and been perfectly fine. But this time, nah, that was definitely not right.
Normally it's 12 o'clock, isn't it? 11:30, 12 o'clock. We all look at each other. It's a weird place because we're all enjoying ourselves, and then one will pluck up the courage and go, "Oh, I'm going to go in a minute," and go, "Do you know what?"
Yeah.
And we all go. But what did you think of it over there, Luke?
Yeah, it was good. I think I need to go back because I didn't think I got like the whole experience. Obviously, where me, Sarah, and I turned up late. I'd love to go back. I caught a really weird photo there, and I don't know if you've seen it in the group chat at all, Darren.
Probably not had a chance, mate. I've only just got back at like 3 o'clock this afternoon, so.
No, that's fair enough. Well, I took a photo of the vibrating tree. As
you know, the trees that vibrate, Darren, at the end.
On the end of the wall of the.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I took a photo of that, but it looks like there's a mist in front of the photo.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I did. That is absolutely amazing. Good capture, mate.
Yeah, it was a good capture, that one.
That was a good capture. What phone did you use, or what?
iPhone. What have I got, Paris? 14 Pro Max, isn't it? Yeah, 14 Pro Max.
Okay, so we should be able to blow it up, and
yeah.
I mean that's a good one for Julia because she's good at playing around and manipulating photographs.
Yeah.
But also we had the laser grid up on the wall, didn't we? And and in that corner kept getting darker, and then we had the lights virtually go out, didn't they, at one stage when we was asking? But
and then all of a sudden it just went bright again, like as if they had been full battery.
Yeah. And always in the right hand corner, what looked like a dark shadow.
Yeah.
Waverley Abbey, mate. It's
well, we had a couple of spirit boxes going off on the phones as well. And
that's right, yeah.
What was it? One of the I don't know her name. Apologies if she's watching, but I don't know your name. She had her phone going, and it was coming up saying direct answers to the questions that were being asked.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like she'd say, "What's your name?" and it would come back with a response, and then it would come up all of a sudden it was saying sinister, and then you'd say like, "What's sinister?" and it would say evil. And like things like that. So it was it was backwards and forwards communication constantly. And lights flickering and people whispering, and it was weird.
Did you hear?
We heard a woman. We heard a woman's voice say yes, didn't we?
Yeah,
we asked the question. We heard, and all of us looked and went, "Did anybody hear that?" I audibly heard it, and then suddenly everybody had heard it. It's like a yes. And we're like, what?
I think you've got a recording, haven't you? Am I correct?
Did you get a recording of it?
I haven't listened to it yet.
Have you not?
I listened to mine. I listened to because I said to Luke, run both recorders at the same time because they do vary, don't they? They do pick up different frequencies. And I think right at the beginning, I think me and Luke G listened to it. We could hear something at the very beginning of a conversation.
Yeah.
So I'll go back over that. I'll slow it down and see if I can pick out what that is. But it was very audible there, wasn't it? Really, that night.
Does that sound like Sarah? Again, it's just come up with Facebook user, so I don't know who it is. If you put your name next to the comment, then we can address you, please, because we haven't got a clue who you are.
Yeah, but it was quite a cold night, a very damp night. And the mist was coming in over the field like it normally does, really. But, it was very audible. Not much other than what me and Luke G saw sort of thing. It was very, very audible. I must go back over my video camera because I left it running and left it in the cloistered bit on its own and just left it. because we had cat balls going off in there, didn't we? We had some
Yeah.
table tipping going, and the cat balls were going off in there. So we put a cat ball on the table, and I left my video, running all night over there, probably 2 or 3 hours, and just left it alone, just not touched it, because we had noises in the corner. But in the other building where we had the laser grid, there was always a dark shadow in the right hand side as you look down that, wasn't it? I'm sure there was something there, but obviously when you look, you can't see it. But the lights would never fill the whole of the wall. It would leave like a dark
It's
spot
like
in the corner.
It was like say like on the screen, it was kind of
Yeah,
that on.
yeah, it's
on
very
the screen.
strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really odd.
Well, it's a Waverley Abbey thing again, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
We never ever gonna get to the bottom of it, and it's got so many it's Heidi. Oh, evening, Heidi.
Evening, Heidi. Welcome.
Yeah, sound. It's just really horrible not be able to address somebody by their name.
Yes.
Yeah. Up, like Facebook user, it's really horrible. It just
Yeah.
feels
Not right.
know,
But they did have one name come up on the glass, didn't they?
Impersonal. That's the word. I knew I kept it for a reason. Impersonal.
You said that without moving your lips. That's very clever.
Yeah. The dog barks at the postman, and she gives me the words.
You got such an easy life, haven't you? Yeah, I mean, I forget. I'll ask Jem when she comes in. But like Luke said, they got a name up on the board, and that name came up 2 or 3 times, didn't it? Was it May?
May, yeah, MAI.
Yeah.
Oh,
but that came up 2 or 3 times, didn't it?
Yeah, even came across in the spirit box on the phone.
Yeah.
I think she's come across from the Abbey. We've got a few that come across from the Abbey because the Abbey was a World War II hospital.
Yeah.
Supposedly Florence Nightingale or whatever's been the World War I, World War II, and it's a very active place. They won't let us into the Abbey. They'll only do weddings, which is probably scarier than the paranormal, to be honest.
Well, yeah. But even that, how many times have we said that place has got so many different levels? Because every time we go, there's something different.
I just can't get away from Waverley, mate. I mean, as far as Luke saying he'd like to go back, I mean, now I'm determined to get up there the next couple of weeks, simply because Waverley Abbey, Heidi. Waverley Abbey, the guys did an investigation there on Saturday. I was away up north, and the guys did one there, and they got the feeling to run. They've all picked up on some great stuff.
Yeah.
Now I know there's something bad over the back. I want to go and see it.
But for me and Luke to pick that up, and we both looked at each other and went, "Oh no, no!" And we both made a head exactly the same time. When you turn and look at someone, we looked at each other and went, "Oh no," and made a hasty retreat. It was just something about that that's not right there. I don't know what. We didn't hang around.
I want to go back over there. So,
I don't, it was like Luke. It was like Luke was saying. It was like get out. That type of feeling, And you just thought, oh no, and we hastily retreated quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to heed the warnings, haven't you?
Well, that's what we should be doing. That's what I keep on about the EMF when it goes to the red.
Yeah.
Turn around and go and hang about. We've had all these meters going to red for the last 10 minutes. That says there's a possibly dangerously high level of radiation in the room. We need to go and have a break.
So move away.
Start listening to these. Daniel's the young guard that's coming on in a minute. I'll send him the link. He can come on. Something I've been really interested in, and I'm taking more of an interest to is obviously Bigfoot. I mean, I can't see that all the sightings around the world are wrong. They're all quite consistent with the smells, the look, the heights, the sounds, the wood knocks, the bending of the trees, what they like, how they act. So they're all really consistent. And my theory is they're also in the UK. And Daniel's just done a meeting apparently on, I'll let him tell you anyway, last weekend. So he seems well into it. I started when I was 6, 7 years of age. So, you know, as I said to Paul, there's no wrong or right age to start the paranormal.
No.
Obviously with parental consent and so forth, yeah. But no, Waverley Abbey. That I mean, it's one we're never going to get to understand 100%. But it's I mean, anybody that watches this now live or is watching it on recorded that wants to come and join us, just let us know. You know, next time we go, we'll give you a shout. Come along as one of our group, one of our team. Come and investigate with us. Be one of us. If you're a complete novice, fantastic.
Doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter.
No, I mean, both myself and Paul have been doing this for many, 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 many years, and we are not experts by far. We've got experience. I don't think you can be an expert in the paranormal.
I don't think so. No.
But
No.
I mean,
every time we go out, it's like a school day. Every day's a school day to do with the paranormal, because no 2 days are ever the same. You know, I've walked out the back of Waverley Abbey and never had an issue. That night I was there with Luke, there was something not right in that back of that. I'm telling you. And, you know, for two people sensitives, for want of a word, which myself and Luke are, to look at each other and then make a hasty retreat. I mean, I'm brave. I'll go in anywhere, but I knew I heeded the warning then. I knew there was a... Oh, no.
It was okay, right, let's go.
Yeah.
And there wasn't even a word of, okay, let's walk away. It was, we both knew, just turn around and walk.
And being sensitive, so that's, you picked that up. Both got it at the same time. Both looked at each other and both made a hasty retreat very quickly. Because sometimes you've got to take, like I say, you've got to take that heed of that warning, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, if somebody wants you to go, then why agonise it or antagonise it, whatever, to cause a problem?
Well,
it's almost like looking down the barrel, going, go on,
yeah, it was just like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, especially Luke being his first time there, you know, to pick that up straight away.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, it was brilliant.
In my mind, sat here, you know, he's never been before.
No,
you've got no reason to panic in that area because I've never had a reason to panic in that area. No. He's not even looking for something good or bad because he's just looking around. He's just having a look around.
I mean, I've been down there loads of times on my own, and I've been down there with Luke, and we sat there and done recordings, and never had ever been afraid or worried about being there. But there was something there that night.
I'd agree with that. You know,
it's 100%. Yeah.
Especially at Waverley, Heidi. Especially at Waverley. I mean,
you've got to respect it. It's a warning, isn't it? They're giving you a warning for a reason.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to respect it because it's telling you I've had enough, and you're in its domain, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Waverley, we've been going there. I've been going there 6, 7 years now, must be. And when you first came over, Paul, last year or something was it? And
probably a couple of years now.
Couple of years. I said, come and join us, Paul. You'll love Waverley. And you went, yeah. If I get a chance, I'll come across. I said, no, get down to Waverley. You will love it. It's right up your street.
Yeah.
Said, however, we leave around midnight, because it just changes. The atmosphere just changes. And we're only looking for the nice, friendly energy. We're not looking for anything else.
No.
And, I said, no, we really do change. And then a friend of mine as well, you'll see him on the channel, Alan Toop. His group does a lot of photography and stuff. And about 4 years ago, I met Alan over there, and I said, "Oh, mate," he says, "It's the South Coast Ghost and down." Oh yeah, I'm Alan Toop. And I said, "Oh yeah, I recognise you now. Yeah, he's down west way from me." I'm in Portsmouth, and he said, yeah, we wanted to come over here and do it for years because but we had to get permission to do the photography. It's a public place, just come and do your thing. He does now, I believe. But anyway, I said, look, we leave about 11:30, 11:45. So if you hear anything, it's not us. Yeah. I said, it's up to you. I said, I would suggest you do the same. And he went, why? I said, the energy just changes. It just, he went, yeah, we'll be okay. There's about 4 of them, 5 of them, and he does some good photographs or whatever. And anyway, he messaged me the next day, and he went, yeah, good meeting you, mate. Now I know, put the face to the name and whatever. He says, but you were right. He says, boy, it changes at midnight, doesn't it? So, we're not the only ones who say, right, let's GTF at midnight and say we've had a good evening. And sometimes when we go in the bunker afterwards, we get that spinning of the table and the elaborate energy in there. I wonder if that's part of the energy just changed.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we left at probably about 11:30, I think, in the end. But obviously no, it was later than that. But anyway, we all came out as a group anyway, like you normally do. Go in as a group, come out as a group. What was that?
Just everything falling off the top really. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Anyway.
Darren lives in a haunted house.
Yeah, I've got a printer above me.
Right.
I've got like a desk and whatever with loads of junk on it and just a bit of everything really. And I keep stuffing stuff up there and it's falling down, so I've got to sort through it anyway. But I mean, Abby, I think we should go back there in a couple of weeks' time again if we've got enough people. And I love it over there. I love it. I'll probably get over there in the daytime as well because I want to do some daytime stuff. I'm doing long exposure photographs because another reason I keep saying to people, years ago on phones we used to get so much more, and the pixels were lower pixels, like 8 megapixels. Now we're up to 40 megapixels. I think the shutter is firing so quick on these new phones, it's not absorbing all the energy. Yeah, I think because it was only 8 megapixels, it had to leave the shutter open a bit longer, and it was absorbing more energy into the lens. Because light is only energy. We are energy, spirits are energy. So that's what we're after. So I'm going to do some more experiments with long exposures, like 30 seconds or whatever. Got a few things in the past. I have got a few things in the past. Something I'm keep meaning to say. Obviously, we did the Hellfire Caves. Expedition X, if anybody watches that, Jessica Chobot and what's his name, Phil. Really good program, Expedition X. She's a paranormal researcher and he's a skeptic. He always tries to put a scientific way about it. They did the Hellfire Caves, but apparently it originated from, there's two things here. It originated from Dublin, the original Hellfire Caves. And then they brought it across to, it all sort of like retreated, and they brought it into High Wycombe. And they've got the mausoleum on there and witnesses and whatever. They've got same activity in the same places. But the interesting thing is, the one in Dublin is absolutely amazing. If only you could get in there. But they use a smoke machine, Paul.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about a few weeks back?
The vortex.
Yeah.
The vortex machine. Yeah.
At the secret location, we use the vapes with the laser grids.
Yeah.
We call there as a secret location, yeah. And what did we get? An absolute brilliant result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it go through it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gonna have to try and somehow I think
the hardest part about that is to get a battery operated smoke machine.
Well, I was just going to come on to that. Yeah,
That's the hardest part. I've looked at getting vortexes, and you can get them. They're difficult to get hold of because they're like a spinning plate, and then the laser's fired into the plate. It creates the V because the plate spins at very high speed, and then the smoke machine is then sucked in by the air from the vortex. So you can get them, but it's trying to get a battery operated. You can get ones that plug in the mains for parties and all of that type thing. But to get a battery operated or a rechargeable one is very, very expensive. I am looking.
Let me have a look at the wattage and I'll work out the amp draw of them.
Yeah.
And so forth. Because I have an inverter which will convert the 12 into 240.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't imagine they work off 240. They probably work off about 80. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'll use X amount of watts. Yeah.
Darren, can you just not get a bigger vape?
Hey? What?
Exactly my point.
That'll do. Yeah.
It worked last time, didn't it? In the secret location.
But I may be able to rig us up a system where, because I'm looking at upgrading the motorhome battery anyway to lithium ion.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to cost about 600 quid for the battery. Lithium ion battery, you can use 90% of its energy compared to lead acid, only 50%. And it's about 40% of the weight.
Yeah.
So a decent 200 AH lithium ion battery, you're looking at about 600 quid. And I'll work out the wattage, the amps and whatever, and maybe a little trolley, a little puller or something like that, with it all strapped on, would be. Do you know what I mean?
You know what you can get? You can get those four-wheeler off-road trolleys. I think they're about, Paris, how much are they? They're about 60 quid on Amazon, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are even cheaper, like 20, 30 quid. But
yeah.
Like, you could hold all the equipment on it.
Oh, yeah.
All across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am actively looking at them.
Yeah, I'll see what sort of wattage and amp draws they are and how long we could run one off of a lithium-ion battery. Because it's not going to use too much. It's only a vapor machine. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So we might be able to make one up, and I can use the caravan battery on it because caravan battery's got about 5,000 cycles on the lithium.
Yeah.
Whereas a normal lead acid has got about 200 cycles, and it's bye-bye.
It's finished, yeah.
You know, £150 for the caravan normal caravan battery, or 600. Well, 5,000 minimum, 2,000 cycles compared to it's a no-brainer. Yeah.
But I do keep looking. I've got my eye on a couple of them, but obviously it's working out the battery, the smoke machine to go with it. You know, the machines itself are not that expensive, but obviously it's having the pellets, the smoke pellets, and the machine to stand alone. So you could take it to Waverley, or you could take it to the secret location, or wherever.
Do you know what you could use? Just reminded me of when we done the bunkers under the hill. So airsofting, they use the smoke grenades.
Oh, smoke grenades, yeah.
Would one of them work on the same effect?
That's true.
You can actually get smoke pellets you put inside chimneys, can't you?
Yeah.
Where they look for leaks inside chimneys.
Yeah.
So maybe you could fire up a smoke pellet, like Luke was saying, and let the machine draw the smoke pellet in, maybe, yeah.
Just see how it works, just to try and test it out just for different things.
Hello, Simon.
Hi.
Simon's here.
Right now.
Sorry, I'm late, everyone. I just lots to do.
But anyway, before I get Daniel on, I might have to drop myself off or something to get him on. Don't know if it's 5 or 6 now. But my visit to Lincoln Castle was quite interesting. I was staying at the showground 5 miles up the road, and they had a shuttle bus, £5 in, and I thought, wow, I don't do buses, and I tried to put myself off, and I did on the Friday, and then on the Saturday I thought, oh bugger it, I'm going into Lincoln, so I went and got my ticket from the information office, off to the bus, and it's only like 8-9 minutes. It wasn't that bad, and nobody saw me getting off that knew me, so I'm quite safe. And anyway, I'm walking around. I've never been to Lincoln before. I'm on my own, yeah. I'm like, well, there's all the other sort of people there, but I like being on my own. I wanted a weekend on my own. I'm happy on my own, yeah. Anyway, I was like, do I go to the pub now or do I wait till lunch? No, I didn't. Anyway, I knew the castle was up a steep hill. Well, I've had a really bad cold, and it's left me with bronchitis. You can probably hear, and I can hardly bloody breathe. But I found this cobbled hill that goes up like that, and it had a rail, and I had my stick, and I've climbed up, and hooray! After about half an hour, I've got to the cathedral and the castle. I thought, well, I'd like to do both, but what was most important? Castle. So I've gone into the castle about 1:45. No, 1:45. And he said, would you like to do the tour? Starts at 1 o'clock. I said, yeah, no problem. Anyway, I went into they've got a Victorian prison there. And they've got a women's wing, a male wing. The male wing far outweighs in size, obviously, to the women's wing. But as you sort of going up the main corridor, there's a door on your left that takes you up some steps. And it takes you into the chapel. And it says it was a solitary confinement prison. It was modelled on Pentonville, and the governors were in awe of what had happened to Pentonville. So they wanted people to sit in their cells all day and reflect on their bad deeds and bad doings and so forth. But sent them insane, obviously, 2 years solitary confinement. Even the guards weren't allowed to speak to them, so they had no contact at all. And in the chapel, they've actually segregated the pews by doors. So, there's somebody else sitting there, but you've got a door in between you. And I climbed up right at the back, and I thought, right, I'm getting my meters out here, and I'm going to get a few cameras going and stuff like that. Nobody will notice. I got my meter out. Next thing, this guy said, what are you doing? I said, I'm visiting the castle, mate. Oh, what's that? I went, it's just, you're not allowed to do any paranormal stuff here. Yeah. I said, no. I said, it's just testing the light and whatever. I said, it's not a K2. So he said, no. He says, you're not allowed to do any paranormal stuff here. I said, not paranormal stuff? What's that? No. And he's like, anyway, he says, as long as you're not, he says, but I can ask you to turn that off. I went, yeah, all right. Anyway, that's got a few pictures. I thought, I'll go through and I'll find somewhere else. Anyway, but they've got cameras everywhere. Literally within 3-4 minutes of getting the meters out again, they were on me again, weren't they? On me again. So, and he said, look, we know what you're doing. He says, well, people do try and do it. He said, but we're not allowed to do it here. You've got to buy a book or get written permission. I said, so if I said now, can I do it now? What would you say? No. I said, well, there you go then. What do you expect? But I got a young girl come through called Agatha, strangely enough, and she was there with her mum. Mum was imprisoned. I also got a maid come through, and it was all in the women's wing where the activity really was. There was a lot of unhappiness and sorrow in the male wing. It was really quiet because of solitary confinement, obviously. But it's well worth a visit. 16 quid, and you can spend a day there. You really can. I'd highly recommend it. I really would. Yeah. But you have a good time, Julia, on Wavy on Saturday?
We had a lovely time. I think there was probably about 15 or so of us there.
Must have been,
yeah. Really good. Luke. Hi, Luke. He turned up, and Luke turned up. And Sarah came with James and her son George. A couple of no, you had 4 people. Jackie turned up with her friend and 2
Yeah.
other people. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. They turned up as well. You brought them.
Yeah.
I really am terrible with names. But there was like, yeah, there must have been about Gemma, Julia. Yeah, there was a lot of us there, a lot.
Yeah.
And I think with us all grouped together, we got some really, really good stuff. I took a wander. Who was I wandering off with? Dora and Ryan. So I took a little wander with them, and we was just sort of like taking pictures around, though, that tunnel area. We were sort of like around the back of the tunnel by the yew tree, and we were just like taking photos and that. And I took quite a few photos of just like these, looked like a round mist. And I got about 6 of those photos. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, could it be torchlight? And I thought, well, no, not really, because I did take some photos of a torch on the wall near where I got these misty orby type things. And it was a completely different thing. Anyway, didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, I'll check my photos, when I'm not so tired, maybe, Sunday sometime. And we were later on in the evening, we were in the tunnel, and there was quite a few of us. I think there's Luke, Lynn, Luke, Sarah, me, Julia, Gemma. Oh, we're all sort of like in this tunnel. And got a few bits, got the glass going, got someone spelt May, M-A-I. So that was quite interesting. And then all of a sudden, looking out towards like the tunnel area away from the cloisters, looking out of that area, Gemma all of a sudden said, oh my God, I've just seen like a white, like something white just dart across. And Lynn saw it too. Yeah, Lynn saw it too. And I said, what did it look like? She said, oh, it's just like a white misty type thing. So I hadn't been with her when I took the misty type photos. I went through my photos and said, was it anything like this? And she went, oh my God, yes, it was. But you said you saw some mist-like things, Darren.
Yes. We were in the main, it's the cloisters where we normally start, isn't it? That bit with the roof still on.
Yes.
Towards the back left-hand side, I believe it was Dora and Lynn sitting down right at the very back, and I was halfway down, and I saw something white shoot past me, and I went, my God, I just saw something go past then. And then they went, yeah, Dora saw it as well, which was quite I don't comment. No worries, Lucas. Whatever, mate. Yeah.
Was that your last visit?
That was a month ago, Paul. Was it a month ago? Yeah.
Paul's saying, yeah.
Yeah, about a month. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because that was Jen and Dora sitting on the windowsill, wasn't it?
Yes, Jen and Dora. Yeah. But they both saw it, yeah. That was the back left-hand side. So
that's it. Yeah.
Where you saw it, Julia, was.
But that's Julia. That's where we thought we heard that voice, wasn't it?
Yeah, and also I've taken pictures of a lady. Well, I believe it's a lady in a very long white gown with like long white sleeves, long black hair. So it could very well be her, just sort of like, zooming about and appearing as a mist shape form.
Now, isn't it? This is over many visits. We've got a consistency going now. We've got the same consistent image in white, a lady in white, a flash of white seen in the same place, same building, different people.
Sorry, you just reminded me of something there, Darren. When we were doing the I don't know what the laser grid and the flashes that kept happening over the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was something else as well, wasn't it? The flashes of...
just reminded me of that.
Above the right-hand window, wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 And there wasn't any lights there. Then there was lights there.
Yeah.
And, it was just like really... They were
and your laser grid kept trying to go out, didn't it? And come back on, and then it went virtually out and then came back really brightly, didn't it?
I had
Just-
trouble with my laser grid pen that
Oh,
night.
that's right. I think it was Jackie's that was in there, wasn't it?
Yes.
But it kept going virtually out, and then, like Luke said earlier, it suddenly went really bright, like it was fully charged again. Really
Yeah.
strange. Really strange there.
But we were trying like
You know,
debunk the
people
flashes,
give
and we're
them
like,
aren't they?
what were the
They really
flashes?
would.
Well, we were
didn't have
looking for
light in, we
people's
had clear
cameras, weren't we?
sky.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we had clear
We
sky
were
and
looking for
everything.
torches, cameras, everything, weren't we? You couldn't see anybody around that was using a torch that bright and a camera, were we?
No.
So it was very,
Because
very
everyone was
strange.
accounted for as well, because everyone was there at that time when we
Mm.
were doing the laser.
That's over the back, isn't it, Debbie? Over the other side of the river. That I so
Yeah.
believe.
You can hear the guides, can't you? But it wasn't coming from there because they suddenly went quiet about 10:30. They go quiet, didn't they?
Yeah, all of a sudden they just go bang, don't they? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But there was definitely
Over
there was
the back.
definitely some sort of light going on above that window. Quite what it was, I don't know. I'm not sure.
First building we go in, we get all these light anomalies. One of my videos on SCGs on YouTube from the year before last, I didn't catch at the time, but I span round to look back towards the track from the cloisters, and you've got two lights on ground level. Exactly where we keep seeing things. You see the Knight and Horse Pole.
Yeah.
Dora sees it, yeah. The man standing there. I mean, this is the great thing about this is now is any paranormal team that gets this, I think it's quite an achievement. It's the consistency over the period of years and number of visits. I mean, we've been going there years and years now on a regular basis, probably 6-7 times a year, and we're all getting a consistent picture of what's happening. This white, this light, this flash, and it's like we know what to expect. The same as we've had the name May come up as well before. I think she comes from the Abbey. Nigel would know more about that because he's on the Abbey ghosts and whatever. Apparently, Florence Nightingale visited there because it was a war hospital, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You've done a bit of research on it as well, Luke, haven't you? I believe in the past.
Yeah, Florence Nightingale, but yeah.
Yeah.
You
What
don't
year-
think that this lady in the white gown, you don't think she was something to do with like a hospital, someone that stayed at the hospital, like
Maybe
someone that was sick?
I think she must be, because why would she have a white gown on at a monastery?
But then it's like Jens just said, maybe it is Florence Nightingale.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
That's interesting.
Maybe we'll have to try and bring that name up next
She
time.
didn't have long hair, did she?
I don't know what colour hair. Does anybody know what colour hair she had?
Long black hair.
Brown.
No.
Brown up. Florence Nightingale had like dark hair, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've got her with her arms up like that, and then her arms like that, as if she's all, but it could be
Mm.
YMCA.
Alexis,
What an amazing
one of the village people.
I don't know. It could be. It was like that, and then it was like that. So maybe we.
You know what that?
see
You
him
know what that
out.
reminds? You know what that reminds you of?
YMC.
Hand signals they would have used in the Air Force or things like that, wouldn't they? To relay a message. Is that
I'm
right,
Mr.
Luke?
M.
Isn't it? But they would have used hand signals like that during the war, wouldn't they? To guide people or get messages across, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, there's
So-
two hand signals now, even
like
before,
that.
don't
and-
Yeah.
That might be interesting to see if that is a signal.
Well,
That one.
that's what I'm
and then
wondering.
That one.
Maybe it's worth looking them up, and then maybe there's a message in that.
What was the signal?
Julia's saying it was. How was it, Julia? Up.
Y.
Why?
And then I missed the M, and then it was C.
Like
I
that.
only took 2 pictures.
It was like standing there like that,
I
and then
missed the
with your
end.
arms to the side.
I missed the end.
Honestly, there's always one in there. There's always one.
There's one of the girl guides.
I wonder.
Oh, semaphore. Yeah.
I wonder, like Jen said, whether it's a girl guide. Would they use hand signals like that if they were?
No, it's not really something that's used in the guidance.
I don't know.
How would Luke know?
Because Cub Scouts and guiding
I
are almost the same.
worry about you, mate.
Were you
He was in the woods.
I used to be a scout.
Oh yeah, I bet you were and all.
Yeah.
Sorry to say this, but do girl guides use semaphore? Semaphore signalling was practiced extensively by girl guides in the 1940s.
What was that?
So they would have used it in the 1940s.
Oh wow!
But I wonder whether that is a couple of letters, whether they're trying to show you a letter, or I don't know.
I wish I'd recorded it rather than just taken a couple of
Well,
photos.
Yeah.
It's always difficult, isn't it? Because you take a picture and not think there's going to be anything there, and then suddenly it's there, isn't it? You know, how many times have you done that? Took a picture, I thought, oh well, there's nothing there. Looked at it, thought, oh my god, there's a shadow, there's a face, but you physically don't see it at the time, do you?
How many people have done that, and afterwards they're sitting down at home looking through them pictures and gone, God, I wish I'd have run at that point and got out of there.
Well, I took a picture when we was in the old Brighton police cells. We did the old Brighton police cells with Surrey Paranormal. And we were up the very top. Has anybody been there? Right up the council chambers, right at the very top?
Yes, we were talking about going back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 3 of the councillors off the board in there many years ago, and I didn't realise there was a board as you walked in the door. And I went and sat in there and had the millimeter going, which we haven't used for years, and the millimeter was a good little device, I think.
You still got it?
No. No.
Can't use it then.
All right, clever clog.
Sorry, guys, I've got to shoot.
Oh, bye, Luke.
Fantastic.
See you later, Luke. Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks for coming on, mate. And
Cheers, mate.
good to see you out in the field, mate. All right.
Thank you very much. See you soon. All right.
Take care, mate.
Bye.
Yeah, sorry, no offence, man.
See you later.
Oh well, Jen obviously was. Anyway,
I don't know, I missed it.
Don't let Jen see it.
What's that?
Debbie's saying really well. I didn't know I was born in the 1940s.
Telephone, yeah. But
Yeah.
no, and I got these. I thought they were judges. They weren't, but they were coming through, and there was one really horrible one. And on the way out, we're like, oh, how can we ever prove this? You were there, weren't you? In the chamber at Brighton Police Cells, when I was sat on one of the benches, and Paul Newman was there, and he was like, yeah, but how can we ever prove it, and things like that, yeah? And then on the way out, we went, whoa, hang about a minute, there's a board of all the councillors here, and these 4 people's names, men's names, remember that? And Paul was like, yeah, you must have looked at it on the way in, do you remember? Went, how could, and Steve, little Steve, turned around and went, don't be stupid, Paul. How could he look at it on the way in unless he's got eyes in the back of his head? Yeah. Paul went, well, it's too much of a coincidence. He got all their 4 names right. You know, there's like 20 on the board. Yeah. I only got 4 of them. But I got 4 of them right, didn't I? And
but I took a picture in there because I was there with Mark Brown when he was at Surrey Paranormal. And you know when you get the face recognition box on your phone and it's darting around, isn't it? So I had to track the face. And me and Mark heard this what sounded like a growl, like a dog. We looked at each other and went, who's that, a dog in here? And then obviously it wasn't. And then I said, oh, I'm going to take a picture because I've got the picture on my phone. I'll show it to you. And then as I look back, the room was like split in 2 different colours, like a very light colour and a very dark colour. and I put my phone on and just let it, and I saw the yellow box scrolling around the screen like this, and then up on the ceiling, it went chink, took a picture. I thought, what's it doing up there? And then the following morning when we came back, I was looking through it, and there's a picture of a judge, the judge's face up on the light, looking down. I'll show you. Remind me to show you. I've still got it on my phone.
Yeah. Well,
And then when you zoom in, you can see the eyes, the nose, the wig. And when you black and white it,
using like face recognition on.
Yeah,
if you're going to take a photo.
Absolutely, spot on, Julia. If you put your face recognition on, you get the yellow box that comes around the face. So when
really
you're taking in the dark, you see the yellow box moving around because it's tracking something. And then when it stops, it flashes on the Samsung. It flashes and it takes the picture. And then when I look back, mind me to show you when I got it, and you'll see his face.
See that video, my big video camera? It's not big, but when I got the big guns out, it's not now, but when that camera was new, that was £1,200, and it has facial recognition on it, and it also has IR facial recognition on it.
That's it, yeah.
Now, when I'm shooting, like the table tipping or whatever, all around, many a time you'll see that the focus goes in and out.
Yeah.
It's a £1,200 camera, that, right? It's really good. Never fails me in the daytime, nighttime, unless we're at a haunted location. And many a time I get that square tracking it and the focus goes right out. And that's what happened with Waverley Abbey when I got the 2 white dots. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's always good to put that on.
Yeah. I've never mentioned it before because it's quite a technical thing, but if you've got facial recognition on your phone, you know what it means. And that's
and you'll see it when you, when you take a picture, you'll see the yellow box, the face box move. So you know it's tracking something, and then on the Samsungs it say it tracks and then stops and ping, it takes a picture as soon as the yellow box stops.
You see, it's my one's going IR for where it is. It's going through the lens for face tracking, and it's going right. That's where it is. Yeah. And it's measuring with IR, bleeping all the time how far it is. So when that camera focuses right out and it all goes blurry in the foreground, that's because it's actually picked something up over there.
Yeah.
Whether it actually comes up on the camera or not. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna send young Daniel a link. Right.
I'm itching to try it out now. I want to see. I want to find because photos and videos are my like big thing. So
only shoulder with the facial recognition, Julia. Yeah. Because the reason spirits, when you look at them, they vanish. Yeah. You know when you see them out the corner of your eye, and you turn to look at it, and it goes. That's because it takes too much energy for it to actually see in our full vision. Yeah. Some you can see, wow, yeah, but now full vision, it's taking too much energy. That's why they go. So over your shoulder with facial recognition, I think that might work. But anyway, I'm going to send a link to this boy now. And he's only a young lad, I believe. He has held his own. He sent me this message, right? He seems quite keen to come and meet us. So
bring him on.
Yeah, we'll get him to explain what he does and whatever, because you know what I'm like and anything paranormal. And as I say, anything paranormal is not normal. Here he is. Oh, good evening,
Daniel.
Mate.
Hi, guys.
Hi, welcome. Hi, welcome. Welcome to Monday Night Live.
Thanks.
So have you been listening? Have you been listening tonight?
I have done, yes.
And what's your verdict? What do you think?
I think it's some really, really interesting stuff. Obviously, I'm not the. I don't know much about the paranormal side. I know obviously my Bigfoot knowledge because I've focused my last few years on searching for Bigfoot, but I don't really know much about the paranormal side of stuff.
But the paranormal side comes into the supernatural, which is all the, the paranormal is a very small part of the supernatural, isn't it? Like Bigfoot, UFOs, submersibles. It's a very small part of a very big, topic. Yeah, that's a good word. A very small part of a very big topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
One thing I found out about Bigfoot and what I was talking to a lot of people I've always been interested in Bigfoot, but I've never had the chance to get into it 100%. Although me and Angela sit there and watch Bigfoot all night long, can't we? And it was put to me a couple of years ago that Bigfoot was in the UK, and I did a little bit of research. Luke Gosling, who was on, and myself have found traces of what possibly could be. But my understanding now about Bigfoot is that it's almost a very spiritual being. It's they were here before humans were, and they're not actually happy with the way humans treat their habitat. I may be wrong. I'm not the authority by far means on Bigfoot. But you've held how long have you been after Bigfoot, Daniel?
So I've been my interest started probably about 3-4 years ago. And I was watching a program, but actual research, I would say probably 2 years now.
Okay, and how old are you now, mate?
So I'm 14 currently.
You're 14. Good one. You started a bit later than me, but you're there. I started at the age of 6, 7, unwittingly, in Borley Church in Suffolk, which obviously Borley Rectory was supposedly the most haunted house in England. And my dad used to take me there for the afternoon out. I don't know what he was trying to do, but there you go. And where are you based again? Bristol area, aren't you?
So I'm based in Somerset, so I'm here in Bridgewater, so I'm not far from Bristol.
Right, you're south, aren't you?
I am southwest, yeah.
Yeah, Bridgewater, yeah. Not far off the 303.
No, not far at all.
I know. I used to go to Exeter quite a lot.
So tell us a bit about yourself then, Daniel, about your research and, tell us a bit about yourself. Just relax. You're not under any judgment. We're all happy.
Right.
We're all very interested.
I do this all the time, so I'm absolutely fine. So I kind of started researching with my cousin 2 years ago, and I decided to go on an expedition with him and start gaining the interest in like weird mythical stuff. And we obviously, because I didn't know much about Bigfoot then, I went and in search of deer to gain the experience. And then me and my cousin said, let's start to put a small team together within our family. So we kind of did that, and we made kind of a series for a while. And we actually found deer in the end, which was incredible. And then I started to actually research Bigfoot a bit more, and I then started a podcast called the Mythical Legends Podcast to learn more about Bigfoot. And I've spoken to some of the biggest scientists, researchers to do with Bigfoot. And then me and Jill Roberts went out to the forest, and we found some pretty amazing stuff. And we found all sorts of footprints and bones and just weird structures, really. And I didn't really know what to make of it. And we've made casts. I've got hair samples and all sorts of trail camera stuff, and yeah, it's been really, really interesting so far.
And what sort of area did you find them in?
So we found it on the Quantock Hills down here in the southwest. We found it in a small patch of forest.
Right.
Because
And
it could have like come up from Cornwall, because that's not too far away, is it?
no. And that, do you know much about them? That, you know, how far do they travel? Do they have a base, like a home, and then they travel out, or do they just keep traveling all their life?
So I know, obviously from America, I know that they can sometimes travel through miles and miles of forest, but and this is where it comes into the paranormal side of it. Is here in the UK, we have the room, but we're quite packed in some areas. So how they are making how they're making their way through the UK, I can't answer. Which makes me think when people say they go invisible or they're cloaked, that's when I start to go, let's not dismiss it, but
Yeah.
let's just kind of investigate it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'm one for logic, but I will always keep the open mind of if that is right, then that's right.
Do you think we see them now more because we're intrusive in their habitat more? So they come closer into towns like animals do now, don't they? They become part, you know, foxes and all of that. And do you think the Bigfoot, that they come closer into the towns, or we start to see them because we're encroaching in their habitat?
I do, yeah, and I think now in my team I have some skeptics of whether Bigfoot is here in the UK. Massive believer of Bigfoot, but is kind of skeptical on whether it's in the UK. Whether I'm kind of, it's not impossible. And I think that's and I've created a map myself of the sightings that we've had and of other people have had, and it's quite in like a line. It's like they're walking through, and I've learned from a brilliant scientist, in my opinion, Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum, that apparently they're only about, like, let's take a forest in America. There's only about 100, 200 in one forest. It isn't a big population in one forest, which makes me think if we don't have many here, then we're looking at possibly only 10 or a dozen that are habitating here in the UK, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? You know, on your map, does it seem to travel the same path up and down the country, or is it a varying path, or how do they?
So I've kind of I calculated the last 2 years of sightings around here in the southwest, and I'm planning to do the rest, but it's going to take a very long time to do
Oh,
so.
I can imagine. Yeah,
And it's around the same time about now, actually, where here it's in the months of July to October, where you kind of have the sightings around Dartmoor and Quantock Hills, Mendip Hills, around where we are, and then up in Scotland it then changes months. So it seems to be kind of seasons, but not seasons. They kind of pick to move around, if you know what I mean, like normal animals do.
So do you think they hibernate?
I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah,
So in America, I know for a fact that they definitely do, which goes to say, do they hibernate here? And obviously, currently we are learning more by the day about the UK Bigfoot, because I imagine it's not going to be the exact same as America, which is why me and my team are trying to not take everything from America we've heard. We're taking some of the witness reports we've got here in the UK, and if I was going to answer that, I would say yes.
Do you think they sorry?
Oh, sorry, Julie, go on.
I was just going to say, has anyone ever seen them like on a road, or do you think they just like travel from like forest to wooded area and make their way around through like the woods? Has anyone ever seen them like on a road or anything like that?
So I have heard one report of shining eyes about 7-8 feet up at night. I would possibly say yes and no. So maybe they travel at night when most of the UK are in bed, or so they feel safe. Now I believe currently that this is a flesh and blood creature, but I'm not going to rule out that it's not paranormal. But I believe that they are clever enough to travel either to forest, as you say, but they can travel sometimes at night and get to far distances quicker.
Because it makes you wonder, doesn't it, how different our climate here is to what it is in America. How they find out, how they cope with our seasons.
Yeah, and obviously I am currently investigating why and the questions around Bigfoot in the UK, which is why, as Darren mentioned earlier, I'm starting these Bigfoot events, trying to get people in the UK who see these posts to come and kind of open up about their stories a little bit, to give us the info about a bit more, because I guarantee that there are some people out there that are too scared to say their stories because of what people might say, or
they think they may have seen something, but they're not 100% sure. So it takes too much time to say about it. Yeah, we get that with ghosts and things, don't we?
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say, people that have experiences with ghosts and paranormal feel like, sometimes unless they meet like-minded people, they never really open up. Julia and all of us have been in this game for a long time, and it's not until people go to an event like Julia, or they meet with like-minded people, they really actually start to open up and say, "Oh, well, actually, I think I have had an experience." So it could be like when you get your group together, and yet somebody might start to open up to you. What? It's like-minded thinking. Maybe we find that in the paranormal, don't we, guys? When people say, "Oh, well, actually, yeah, I have seen something," or "I think I've seen something," and it's only because they're with like-minded people. So you may find that helps when you get together. Suddenly, you start to get all these sightings that people think, "Well, I ain't saying anything," because they think I'm mad.
They've always been around, though, haven't they? You look at all the comic books and things like that. That it's always like Bigfoot. There's always some sort of like Yeti, that sort of thing. And the same with like aliens, the same with ghosts, the same with UFOs. So there must be something. These things couldn't just like, there must be something, unless they are someone's figment of imagination and it's just grown over the years. Same with ghosts. It's very hard to prove and disapprove anything. And I think, if you are, as Paul rightly said, around like-minded people, they sort of like have the same beliefs as what you do and can sort of like understand the path that you're coming from.
Well, the thing is, Julie, I mean, that's a good thing, but because I mean, as I say, I haven't done so much as I have into spirits and ghosts, because obviously I'm quite connected with them. But here it goes again. It's like snowing up here. But every case I mean, taking it back to Waverley Abbey, where we're getting that beautiful, consistent area now, that sweet spot, if you like, where the white lady and things like that, you've got the pictures, everybody's seeing her. Yeah. I've got the same from just my soul research, which I haven't shared with anybody, I've got exactly the same consistency from 90% of the investigation I've done. You know, it's like there's this smell that all of a sudden appears, and it's like rancid meat. Yeah, and apples. They love apples, a little bit rotten or whatever. And I mean, people out in America that go camping that look for Bigfoot, they'll go and they'll take a crate of apples, put them in a dip, and then they'll go down to get some water, come back to the camp, and the apples have gone. And I mean, something 8 foot, 10 foot tall, to sneak in behind them and just take it, says to me that they've got to be really, really dainty, or there's some spirituality about it.
There's some good stuff on TikTok actually that I've been watching recently about Bigfoot, and again they said about apples.
Yeah,
but that was quite interesting.
Yeah. And also the wood knocks. They knock on the trees. And I mean trees, branches that are bent over for no apparent reason. A place where we found it last month, wasn't it, is Rendlesham Forest. I kid you not. It happens to be Area 51 of the UK, and you've got, I don't know if you're aware, Daniel, of Rendlesham Forest UFO incident.
I'm not, no.
Get a book called Sky Crash if you're into reading. It's really, really interesting. It's true accounts and how these investigators weren't taken seriously, and then all of a sudden when they were taken seriously, they were arrested for harassment. Top generals saw the UFOs land and lights for years before and years afterwards. Houses that appear and disappear in the forest. It's really, I've done quite a bit. Yeah, I've got a lot of reports I've got to collaborate and put together into a film for my channel. And at the minute, I'm trying to get all the names right and everything while doing everything else. So I don't want to implicate anybody else. But these are people that were sworn to secrecy. But again, we found it, didn't we? Many in Rendlesham Forest where these branches have just been pulled over. And they're too big, they're too high for a human. And not only that, but they're too big for a human to bend. You'd have to get about 3 men on it and put it down. And then what would be the point in doing it? We also got quite a few areas where we were drawn to walk off the path, didn't we? And Jack walked in, and he's 14 this week, well, Saturday. And he's Daniel Page. And he's walked in and he's gone, I've got a strange feeling here. We all walked in and we all got the same strange feeling, all 5 of us. The dog's looking around, things like that. There's an area where stones drop onto your head in Rendlesham Forest, and just out of nowhere. And they've tried to hide that and things like that and depublicise it. They changed the name.
If I add to that, so I was out probably in the forest probably about 2-3 weeks ago now, and me and my partner found probably something that you have just said, with trees bent over and just in weird spots. Now
I linked up against trees, hollowed out floors,
and currently I don't know if you guys are aware about eDNA, environmental DNA. We have collected some soil and we have sent it off to some science labs, and they are going to get back to me within the next few weeks, and they are going to be able to decipher what type of thing made this, and if it's not, it's going to come back as unknown, and that's a massive discovery.
Right, mate. That would be awesome.
And I just asked you a question. What's your take on them eating apples? What do you think that's about? Why they're so curious of apples?
I know that Bigfoot in America eats berries and like different kind of things that grow on, so the fruit things. So maybe it has something to do with that. Maybe it's something with a smell that they like. Currently, I've got 3 apples up there currently where we found all this now, and we're going back in a few weeks to go and investigate where these apples have gone. But I think it's probably something to do with smell or something in their trait that they like.
Do you think because they're so tall, it's easy picking off a tree for them? Because they're so big, they're easy to pick off for their height.
Yeah, and because obviously you've got other animals in the forest as well. I think it's one of the foods where the animals won't touch, and a lot of researchers and a lot of scientists tend to leave apples out there. So maybe Bigfoot has kind of got used to that and kind of gone, oh, this is an apple, I'm safe in this area, and maybe kind of just got to know some stuff that we do, because obviously
now there's another interesting thing while I think about it, because my memory, Daniel, I've got to say while I'm thinking about it, going back to Rendlesham, Paul will agree with me here, some areas in there, Rendlesham is a huge forest, and the lack of wildlife in areas. Paul, would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
There's no birds singing, there's no rabbits, there's no foxes, there's bugger all. And again, you often find this in areas where Bigfoot is. Is that right, Daniel?
Yeah, and the current forest that we've been into, we have found quite a few bones, and there are a few birds singing, but I would say it's quite peaceful but quite silent, and and that's where we kind of go, what are we finding here? Are we finding something that is natural, or are we finding something that is some quite significant evidence? And I go along with scientists, researchers, but I also go along with the UFO side, and I'm actually currently investigating the UFO side of it, because we've had quite a few sightings around where we found all this stuff. So I'm starting to think, if they're linked, we want to do some investigating into that.
Wow, so you would say they were very intelligent creatures then?
Yeah, and I believe that. Personally, I don't believe that in the portal side of things, and obviously I'm starting to go, it's possible, but I like the logic side of stuff. But if it is possible, then that opens up a massive area of science and new investigating. And I think that's what we're trying to do, and that's what I'm trying to do in the events, and trying to get people more interested in it, and starting to research a bit more, and maybe we might find some good evidence if we get more people and more teams interested in this.
Yeah. That's interesting you said that, isn't it?
Great approach. I mean, I love the approach, and I think everybody here is thinking the same as me. And instead of going into it, going, oh, it's got to be something from here, it's another planet, or it's whatever, you keep leaning back on the science and the physical approach. There is a guy that did actually contact me, and he said, oh, they're very spiritual, and he's going to come and visit you while you're in your bed at night and things like that. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't quite know.
I won't. I mean, we don't mention names on here anyway, mate. Yeah. Like I said to you, we don't swear, we don't slate or anything like that. Yeah. But I will send the name across to you. Okay.
Yeah, I think I might know actually. Yeah.
Hang around. I might actually still have it on here.
Do you have any sightings? Sorry, Darren. Any sightings across Salisbury Plain?
Sorry?
Have you had any? Have you ever had people say about sightings across Salisbury Plain? Because you can't be far from that, can you? Where you are down there.
We aren't far.
Mhm.
Again, because of our current investigation.
I think you the name of it.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You think a little bit of a.
Yeah.
I did it all right. Yeah.
I obviously I'm focusing on our investigation, but when I start to expand my map, I start to go, oh, here's some Bigfoot sightings. It is quite surprising, and I'll send Darren a link to my map. It's quite surprising how many Bigfoot sightings we do have, because I'm not sure many people know how many Bigfoot sightings we actually have here. I think it's.
Yeah.
I've got some pictures. I will put up on if I can. Right.
All right. Yeah.
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 Is that quite common for them to do that? Is that territory marking then? And what's that about?
That is the exact same one that both me and Jill found in that forest.
So do you think that's territory marking, Daniel, or do you think it's just?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a classic tree structure.
Send them on the chat, Darren. Send them on the chat if you can, so we can have a look.
So
wow,
that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
And there's like different. I wonder whether it's the territory marking.
So I will explain something that we did find on our investigation. We found a kind of a bedding area where it's like lined up with sticks, like a normal human, like burrow, if you know what I mean, would usually be. But the thing where this was is both me and Jill had to use a rope to get down to this area, and before we reached it, there was kind of a stick bent with a rock and sticks on it, like a kind of an alert. So let's say a deer was coming down there, and it tripped. It would, whatever was lying down further down in that kind of a bedding area would know that something is coming down and would have time to go or hunt whatever has.
Yeah. Or is a trap set to bring the meat or whatever animal down the hill?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Myself and Luke found some big footprints round at Knoll Woods. I mean, like that size, yeah. Yeah. Huge and like looked like 4 toes. Yeah, like 2 really big ones or whatever.
So I will send you across and obviously I'm not gonna release any big details, but I'll send you across the cast that I made, and it is 18 inches long with 4 or 5 toes, and it is huge. And funnily enough, there is another one next to it that we've casted as well, and there have been several flat indentations that I mean 20, 30, but that print is I when I looked over it, I didn't know what I was seeing. I didn't know what to make of it. And about probably 10 minutes away, there was some scat on the floor that was bloody huge. It was and we pulled one hair out of that, and that may give us an answer to what we've been following. And I've sent that off to some scientists that may give us an answer, and I'm really, really excited to know the answers.
Do you think they travel alone or travel in pairs, or do you think they're loners?
So there has been reports of groups of them, But I believe here in the UK, due to the amount of people we have here and an area, that they travel in singles, but they occasionally meet up to obviously then mate, and that's how we keep the population going. And actually, I've had one member in my team who actually has got the numbers of how many people in the UK compared to how much land we have, and it's really interesting to know how much land is available to these creatures, because maybe if we take the thought of, does this creature need forest, or are we taking that from what America has found, and maybe we have our own discoveries yet to be made.
Yeah, interesting.
The Mendip Hills is absolutely huge with cave systems. Cave systems we haven't even explored yet. So, you know, who knows what could be under there? Who knows what? I mean, there's underground waterways and so forth. I mean, you look at Wookie Hole, they found another 27 miles of tunnels behind it. I mean, 27 miles. Who's to say when they go in there that something doesn't hide as they're passing? We're never going to know, are we? Because
it could be the hibernation thing, couldn't it? Where they hibernate for certain times of the year or certain seasons that they don't like, the summer, the hot weather, whatever it may be. These cave places are where they actually go and hibernate, because you think of bears and all them types of creatures, they all hibernate, don't they, during the winter months when the food is scarce.
I will mention, so we're also on the lookout for the Exmoor Beast. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of that, yeah.
It's basically a panther.
The Exmoor Beast.
It's basically...
And it's been seen, isn't it, crossing roads and all sorts, but it's bigger than a normal panther.
I've got a friend that's actually seen it, and I was supposed to be doing an interview with him a couple of years ago. However, he's still in hospital, and it's a really long, drawn-out story. He's got severe MS now. He's in hospital. He's been in hospital about 18, 19 weeks. I'll have an update about him coming out tomorrow. As soon as he does and he's fitting well enough, I'll have an interview with him. He's already given it to me. He was waiting years ago to collect something when he lived in over sort of the moors and whatever, Dartmoor. And he saw this thing past the telephone box. He thought, oh, it's a moggy. And then he looked at it and went, that's well too big for a moggy. And it walked right past him, basically, and it was a black cat. When I lived in Scotland, I was saying last week about me owning 4 properties and wandering around and losing them, eventually 5 acres in the middle of nowhere. And we used to, at night time, we sit out the front and you'd hear these growls, like, and it wasn't any dog or cat, believe me.
How's he going?
I've oh no, I can't.
Do it again.
Sorry, Paul. What did you say again? Sorry, Paul. What? Sorry. Oh. He seems to have lost his mic.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it seems to have gone. Yeah, it does.
See what I have to part with. Daniel. Never a dull moment.
What do you think of me, Dad? Anyway, Daniel, he's not too bad, is he?
He's all right.
He's
Thanks for that.
Granddad. Don't tell anyone. Anyway. But no, I also found when you live, I mean, I obviously come from the city or the town, and I moved up when I was 19, and I lived quite a few years in the country. And it's amazing how quickly that you adapt and your body adapts to country, rural hunting life. I used to spend 2-3 days of time with the poacher in the woods at night. We'd have a little fire, we'd cover it up so nobody could sit around, we'd have a brew, we'd sleep on the floor, we'd make a makeshift bed, wake up and go and get the pheasants, go and get the rabbits or we've snared or whatever. And you also get to know the signs, and you start to track animals, and you know what made them gnaw bones on an animal's jawbone if you find it. And I have found many sheep bones that they weren't dogs. Let's put it that way, yeah. And there ain't no other predator in, well, unless there's a cat, yeah, or multiple cats. I think there's multiple. I was also on the bus, right? Please, don't take this the wrong way. Me admitting to using the bus twice in one night is no admission I like them, all right?
That's because you got your pension pass.
This is in 50 years I've used 2, okay? Now, right? I was on the bus going into Banff, and I looked out the window, and there's this black thing running along the hedgerow, and then it slowed down and it darted at the back of the bus. It wasn't a dog. When you, I mean, probably now, you know, you can mistake it and go whatever, yeah? But when you're living in that environment, it weren't no bloody dog, let's put it that way.
You don't think that people have these animals, like...
Of course they do.
They have, think, oh, this is like an exotic pet, like a monkey or an alligator, oh, it's such a cute little animal, little cute baby animal. And then they get too big and they think, oh, damn, what we're going to do with this? Let's just like let it out into the wild, because it's like this little kitty cat turned into a massive big panther. And they thought, oh, it's just like, just let it go.
The moat is full of snapping turtles, where people have like had them as a pet and they've just gone boom and they just dumped them in the moat down at Portchester Castle. The cemetery down the road used to be full of budgerigars, where people just got fed up with them and they've just let them go and they bred and they were surviving. And that's an ornithologist pointing me that direction. I mean, when you buy these animals, yeah, it's like our dog, yeah. When she was a puppy, I dare say she was really, really, really cute, yeah. Just a ball of fluff, and she sort of bit your hand and ran around and stuff, and did poos about that size and stuff like that. She's 40 kilograms now, yeah. She does poos bigger than what she was when she was a puppy, and that's sitting on your knees, no fun, yeah. And that's why we've ended up with her, because the original owner didn't want her. But I've seen in hindsight, looking back on the banks of the Spey and things like that. And even when I used to go fishing at midnight, 3 of us, a certain burn near Whitehills, in the dark, and you weren't allowed to smoke or have a torch, that sort of fishing, we used to hear growls then, and they'd echo for miles, so, I mean, I did have a theory at one time. Our climate is completely different to what America is, and the reason that, I mean, if you look at the forests in America, they're immense, I mean, you can drive 1,000 miles and never get out of the forest. It's so hard to believe. And you've got these rednecks and whatever hillbillies in them and so forth. They never report it, even if they could. Do you know what I mean? They don't even know they're there, let alone the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And they smell just like one anyway. But in this country, our forest, it's of course they're going to live in the forest. It's easy to hide. It's easy to blend in. If we wanted to go missing now, the first place we'd go, I mean, if anybody's watched that Most Hunted or Hunted on TV, I mean, I'd head to the woods, wouldn't you? Straight in the woods, get myself a silver blanket, thermal imaging, never pick up on me. I'll be happy, mate,
That's what you say about the tunnels. There's probably many tunnels out there that we don't know about because we've ventured that far into the forest. Have you ever thought about putting trap cameras out, Daniel, in where you've had footprints of various different things that would...
So I have actually invested in 2 trail cameras, and I use them to obviously put where we found evidence, and actually where we found the 2 footprints, I did actually put a trail camera up. Now this may fall right in your guys' alley. I had a photo that it had nothing in it. Now, I don't know if that's anything to do with, or if it's just natural, if it was a leaf going by. But where the footprints were found, I had a photo that had nothing in it. Now, and further down, we found the most amazing badger sets. And I put trail camera up there, and there was some weird. Now, I think it's a deer, but some people have said that it's dogman like. And I'll send the picture across, Darren.
Yeah, send it across to me, mate, because Julian, under the name of Simon, is really good at superimposed. She's undercover.
There's always one, isn't there? There's always one.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, mate. She's not after you. Yeah, but just because you're not paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Now that'll not be. Anyway, she's good at superimposing and enhancing the photographs. So if you send it across to me, I'll forward it. And
so the camera was triggered, but there was nothing actually in the view of the camera.
So
was that in the dark at night or during the day? Was it or?
So it was one shot of at night, and that was by the footprints. And then where the badger sets were, which was probably about 5 minutes from where the footprints were, obviously we've got loads of badger eye shine, which was amazing. But then just like on a little hill was just I thought it was a deer, but you can't see the definition all right. So it's just like something standing, but some people have said it is Dogman, but some people have said they have no idea what it is. So it's just something really interesting. And I will say, every time me and my team have been in that forest, something new has come up. So there's activity constantly going on in that forest.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Not too far away from us, mate. So I mean, it'd be nice to come up and sort of have a look. And one thing we don't do, we don't publicise our patients, especially on here. We do have our own private chat, which we talk about between each other, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Everybody on here, one way or another during the paranormal, has had somebody burn them. Is that fair to say, guys?
Yeah. Without a doubt.
And I'm sure you've been watching the show quite a few weeks, have you?
Yeah.
And you can see what we're like. Yeah. We're not into that, mate. Yeah. What we're into is friendship, and a bit of power love.
Yeah.
We'll share locations between ourselves.
Yeah,
between ourselves, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, and I'm quite not nervous about sharing the location to public.
Yeah, of course.
Because obviously we've got stuff there. No,
never and the public. Never.
We've got stuff there that could be potential massive evidence, and I'm again concerned about doing it to the public. But yeah, of course, if you wanted to have a look,
it would just be trashed, wouldn't it? You just know you'd get all the idiots there that would trash it. And after all that hard work of you and your team, and we've had the same, and Julia will tell you, we've all had the same. You spend all that hard work and all your team together trying to gather this evidence, and then you get some idiots of the public that just trash it.
Yeah.
And you've lost everything, haven't you? Everything you've worked, strived for, many cold nights out sitting there, or many days hunting, whatever you do, you gather yourself a good team behind you, and then some idiots come along and they trash it, don't they?
Yeah, and the issue that we face is because this forest is probably about, if I were to jump in the car now with my team, it would take probably 15 minutes to get there. So it's not far from civilization.
Yeah.
and our town, so it's not as in like out in the nowhere. It's a small forest that borders a dog walking forest. But
have you taken the dog over there?
I have taken a dog over to the other side of the forest, and we have actually gone and done a massive loop, which took probably about 3 days to do. And we found absolutely nothing. But when we went back over to that probably 2-mile forest, we kept finding new stuff. We found dead deer. We found
dead deer. That's interesting.
It was spreaded everywhere. And we also, I will tell you this, my partner actually smelled something absolutely disgusting. It was probably when a cat wheezes in your garden, and it's been there for a while, but then it was mixed with some sort of just and I had to step off the path to just get rid of it. On the main trail, it was just fresh. When you step probably about 10 meters off the path, it absolutely reeked.
So do you think that's a marking of a territory?
Possibly. But I will say this, when we went back a few days later, it was gone. Weird.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
If that was a rotting animal that was left there, maggots, that would take 3-4 weeks to go. And then it would go gradually.
There's a decomposing smell, isn't it? That's quite a horrible smell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wouldn't go in a couple of days. It would be still hanging around, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the bodily fluids that go into the ground that smell. So even if the bones are taken, you still get that decomposing smell.
Yeah. And I would link it to the deer, but this was probably about 20 minutes from the deer, so it can't have anything to do with that. And
do you think it was a marker for whatever to come back to, so it knew it was in the right area, or are they intelligent enough to know when they go out hunting where they need to come back to? Do you think?
So it's like dogs and cats, isn't it? And a lot of other animals, they leave their scent everywhere, don't they?
That's
so
right,
could it be something like that?
So obviously I won't definitely, I won't say that this is Bigfoot. I won't say it's not Bigfoot, and I won't confirm that until I have the results back from the scientists if it works. And I won't say it's a big cat. I won't say it's not a big cat. It's really odd what we're following, and all I can say is we're following something that probably shouldn't be there. And whether people say it's not or whether people say it is, I don't know what we're following, or if it's just natural. And if it is natural, it's natural. And it's like deer could die of old age.
Have you spoke to local farmers or people like that are out all times of the day and night?
I have got in contact with the park rangers that kind of manages the forest, but this forest that we're in isn't managed, but it is looked over by a few park rangers. So I've been unsuccessful to reach them. So that's probably the highlights of my Bigfoot researching.
Fantastic, mate. That really is
fantastic. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well done, you.
Yeah,
thanks.
I think I can talk on behalf of everybody as well that we're anticipating a 14-year-old boy to come on tonight, and have to sort of look after him a little bit, and guide him. And I think you've done absolutely amazing, Daniel, on your speech, mate.
Yeah,
and
really
well done there, mate. Would everybody agree with that?
Definitely. You keep up the good work as well, mate. Don't let anybody put you off.
No.
You keep going. You and you
Amazing.
obviously got a good, fantastic team behind you, and you need to keep going, mate. You know, don't let anybody put you off. You'll get the people that will try and say, "Oh no, that's all rubbish." You keep going, mate, because I'm sure you're onto something.
Same with Ghost, though, isn't it? Same with Ghost. You get people like going, "Oh no, 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 no! Oh, what a load of like." But
they'll put it down all the time, Julia, won't they?
yeah,
All the time.
I found it really interesting, Daniel. I found it really interesting, and I think you'll go very far.
Yeah,
I think you'll go very far with your enthusiasm, and especially your research is quite extensive. So yeah, and let us know what the soil sample. See what. Let us know what you think of that. But very interesting.
I'll say this last thing. When people say don't follow, see, I'm autistic, so I will follow what I think is right, and
good for you.
So I won't let anyone stop. But Darren, I'll send you over some photos in the morning.
Yeah, please do, mate. Yeah.
And I'll keep
in contact a bit more or something, yeah?
Yes, definitely.
To reply, because I'm either out on a bike or, driving or something like that. I mean, if you look at all my posts on Facebook, I very rarely put where I am, what I'm doing anyway. So it's just a form of communications, mate, yeah?
Amazing.
And if nothing else, myself and Angela or Paul or I mean, who's your team? What's your team members?
So my team members are within my family. So Jill, who I've been speaking about, who is currently on and watching us.
We've got a fan base, mate. So
good for him.
Is my
I think she just commented.
She did, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done.
Fantastic.
Me and her do main of the work, but then we have like other people then pitch in with our stuff. And I'm currently
your family member, is she?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Right. And I take it she's like, is she an auntie, or if you don't mind me asking, or?
She's my nan.
She's your nan.
Oh, nice.
She is.
Oh, right.
Nice. Excellent.
So I take it she's the oldest member of your team, then, is she?
Yeah. So and then I have obviously my cousin, which is just a little bit younger than me. And I have my sister, and we work like we are colleagues. We don't work as in we're family when we're out in the forest, because then we get more stuff done. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I'd love to come out with you lot for the day. I really would, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Angela the same. You know, because we've been together 11 years, and I got her into sort of ghost hunting, if you like. Yeah. Until she met me, she was a Baptist. Then all of a sudden, she's like, "Oh, ghost!" You know, anything, as Paul said, paranormal is anything non-normal. Yeah. You know, it's that noise wasn't necessarily made by a ghost, but it wasn't normal. Yeah. A UFO is non-normal. Yeah, I mean, you don't see them landing every day of the week. The thing I mean, with Bigfoot, it's where do these glowing eyes come from? You know, you don't have to shine a torch into its eyes, but they're glowing. Yeah, and
it's really odd.
Yeah, it's a consistent thing that people see every time there's a report at night. There's these glowing eyes glaring at them, or they're in a cabin and there's half a dozen of them outside, staggered, but all the same distance away from the cabin. Strange that.
Yeah,
and
that
glowing eyes. And some seem to be a lot bolder and a lot more hostile than others. Which would suggest to me that there's not just one or two, but there's probably about 5 or 6 different types.
Yeah.
You know? So
I agree with
that the one in the UK is the same as the one in the States. It may be a bit smaller. It may be able to pass off for a human.
But then they have to adapt to their environment, don't they?
That's true, yeah.
So, you know, if they're adapted to the environment, maybe the frame size of it's the same as in America, but it has different traits about being in this climate than it would be in an American climate, maybe.
Mm.
You know, it's about being adaptable.
Also, like with the photos, you know, every photo you take, if it's, you know, if it shouldn't be in the photo, then it's probably something to look into. But everything, you know, you can't say that everything is a ghost, because sometimes it could be to do with the environment, dust, bugs, that sort of thing. But you know, from I don't know, so many years, 20 years doing the photos, it's anything that's not in the photo is probably worth a look. Not saying everything's a ghost, but you know.
Well, you've got to investigate it, Julia, haven't you? That's what we do. We investigate. And
it's like the trap camera going off, like Daniel was saying with the trap camera going off. They only go off because they've been triggered by either sound or by the PIR light being broken.
Because
you've got to look into that.
On our cameras, they have infrared lights and they have like night vision stuff, and they will be triggered only if something is in the shot. And what I find weird is nothing was in the shot.
Yeah.
Well, it may have been in the shot.
Might be.
It may have been.
Something might
be. Just that you just can't see it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I used a trap camera or trail camera here at home once. And if we ever do meet up, I'll show you the video of what we caught here. That's obviously been on TV and all over the world, I suppose you could say, is YouTubing and all. And that was just a trail camera that I was trying out to do for paranormal, just leave it in the houses, haunted locations or whatever. And the footage this thing caught is just staggering.
Wow.
And if we ever meet up, you know, remind me to show you this footage. And I mean, all the guys on here have seen it. And it, you know, a friend of mine's on the TV, Barry Guy, has helped My House is Haunted. And I sent it to him, and he sent it to 5 experts to have a look at the metadata, you know, from the camera to see whether it's a trick of the camera, whether there was something that double exposed and all of that. And all of 5 of them said that they can't find anything wrong with the video. It is as it is. But the interesting thing is, when it shoots one and then a split second the other. But when you look at the metadata, the last shot is at 3:06 in the morning, and then the first shot is at 3:07. So it's the time. It's gone a minute. There's a minute time change in it.
Wow. And
so if we ever meet up, I'll show you.
Say I have all the experts' contacts to do with Bigfoot, so I know where to send stuff and currently and I'm not gonna confirm anything yet. We are trying to get people from America over to the UK for a big convention, and that's obviously not confirmed yet, but we're trying.
Keep us in the loop if you do manage to get it.
I mean,
and we'd be interested to come into that.
I'd have well happy have come up the weekend.
On
the drive, I would. Anybody on here will vouch for me on that.
Amazing.
Just to put this away. Interestingly, again, before I forget, and I meant to say this almost 2 hours ago. Remember, I told you the story about the hitchhiker I picked up.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it just so happened today that the sat nav brought me down the 46, which is a Roman road, onto the A1, which is the Great North Roman Road. And as I came past this spot, I got a shiver. And I'm like, I recognise this place. Anyway, I carried on driving. Then I came up to a roundabout, and I'm like, I've seen this before. And I looked over there, and there was a shell garage. And I thought, no, just the other side of the roundabout. That's not it, because the pulling's not big enough, and there's no little chef. So I looked as I went past, and the little chef has been demolished behind it, and the pulling where I pulled the handbrake on and jumped out the car is still there with a big bit, yeah. And as I went past, I just got the shivers, honestly. Every hair stood up on my back, and I went, that was it. That was the spot, yeah.
That was the time, yeah.
So he must have been in my car for over 30 minutes. He must have been in my car for over 30 minutes. And I could see him for over 30 minutes. And he smoked my cigarettes for over 30 minutes. And I'm like, maybe 45 minutes, a good 30 minutes minimum from what I gauged where I got the shiver to there. And then I got to another spot because my real mother, I believe to be my sister then, was going to move to Lincolnshire one time. So we're up and down there every week. That's how I know that road so well. And it was, my dad had just bought a Citroen CX. And are you off, mate? Yeah?
Yeah. If that's able.
It's really good to have you, honestly. Really well done tonight.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Well done.
Hang about. Long suffering man. Yeah. I wonder who that could be.
Poor Nan.
I think you've got a grandson to be proud of there, Nan.
Very, very much.
Very, very nice spoken, polite, good manners, great at explaining things, and a credit to you, Nan. Honestly, I think, don't you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You keep going, mate. You keep going with what you believe, yeah? Don't let anybody stop you.
Well,
you just do it. Do it.
A load of weird strangers like us, look. Yeah.
And if you ever get your convention going, give us a shout. I'm sure we'll all be there.
Yeah.
We'll all be behind you.
All right.
And, you take care, mate.
Amazing. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Take care, mate.
Bye.
Look after yourself. Bye.
And what a lovely
interesting.
Kid, eh?
Interesting. Very knowledgeable.
Were you interested in that?
Yeah. I mean, if you think he suffers with autism, and yet the way he spoke and the way he presented that was brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
Sounded like he was from, like friends.
We'll get the answer in a minute. Jen's just having a bit of a time and motion study. But I thought he was very, very well. I thought he was very, very good.
He blew me away.
Very interesting.
A 14-year-old kid comes on like that, yeah. Was, like I said to you, he's a young lad. We've all got to start off somewhere, yeah. Yeah. And then when he came on, I say, all right, really? He's so well spoken and
very, very.
Love to get up and meet him and his team sometime. Not too far away because this year I'll get up and see him hopefully.
It'd be interesting to meet him, in the flesh, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah. Well, Angela will upload those.
That's what I'm trying to think. Grammar school.
Huh? What's that?
Jen said he sounds very much like from a grammar school.
Doesn't he, Jen?
With the way he projects himself and
what a lovely kid, though, eh?
Absolutely.
He had a lot of humility about him.
Yeah, a lot of humility about him and passion.
Very much so. He's the sort of kid we want to sort of like, on our chats and things like that.
Yeah. But it's the sort of person you can have their back, can't you?
Yeah.
Because we've all been there. We've all started from the beginning.
Now because we've been on 2 hours. Thanks. We hang on for 5 minutes anyway. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
I found it really helpful tonight, like we have. Really interesting, I should say. If you've, I think, Julius, you've got some tickets left, have you? If you want to come and join us, you're always welcome to come and join us. Paul's host for Ghosts on South Coast Ghosts, pay for events of Paranation, which is Julia, paranation.co.uk. Please don't just sit, and Luke just sits there on his own. Luke's part of SCG as well. I met him at Surrey Paranormal when I used to leave for them. Together we're puppy. We're all equal here. Nobody is better than each other. But you know, if you want to come out in the field and join us, please come and join us. We'd love to meet you. What
We do
tickets do we
the
have
free
left
events
for?
as well, don't we? We do the like Waverley Abbey and
Well, Waverley Abbey and whatever. Yeah, you're welcome
Yeah.
to come on them. But I mean, if you want to come to a really reputedly haunted location, I mean, we've got the boat coming up, haven't we? In SS Shooter Hall, November 25th. Is that sold out yet?
no, we've still got spaces for that one. We've got the tea rooms on the 7th of October, a couple of
That's
weeks.
Finley.
Only got like a couple of tickets left on that one. Because it's like a small venue. We're only going to do like a small group to investigate that. I think they've had
Yep.
some like shadowy figures on their CCTV, so that should be quite interesting. Shield Hall end of November, Shore House sold out. December we've got 8 spaces left for the police station. That's gone really well. Nearly sold
8
that out.
places.
I know,
8 places.
it's madness,
We've
absolute
probably
madness.
got about 15 places, but left there.
I've literally got 8 places, and then that's sold
Mental.
out.
Mental.
Shepton Mallet. Oh yes,
28th of
I,
January.
that's the 28th of
28th of
January.
January.
Yeah.
I think we've sold half the places already for that one. So, yeah, it's just going manic.
At prison, guys, get on there. Paranation.co.uk. Book your ticket. It's going to be a fantastic night.
Hoping to go back to Widley next year. Hoping to do another Widley because we haven't done a Widley for well over a year now. So we're looking
Yeah,
to
there must be
No.
something wrong.
it has. Well, we didn't do any. We haven't done Widley this year, have we? When
No.
was the last time we did Widley?
No.
Oh, it's last year sometime. But no, we haven't done Widley for ages. Be good to do another Widley. Go back there. And the lady has been in contact with me, so she, it'd be good to go back and do another Widley. I've also got like a couple of events that I'm still waiting to hear back from. So they're still in the pipeline. I need to. I've got a few leads on those. And I'm also looking at doing Woodchester Mansion.
Yes.
Again, also one
Yes.
time next year. So yeah, there's a couple of big ones coming up. Possibly do that one in Bracknell again. Sorry,
Yeah.
very, very tired. That one in Bracknell again. And definitely the Lamb in Thiel, because that's always a good one. That's always a good one.
I think the
It was a
Lamb
good
was
turnout as well.
absolutely amazing last time.
Yeah.
Full body apparition, closed the door on us. I saw it up the stairs at us. Ian was like, he could see the lower part of the body.
And
we're like,
we've seen
what
him.
the hell was
We've seen
that?
him like a few years ago. That guy,
Yeah.
because we were I can't remember. Excuse me, I can't remember where we were, but we saw this guy, and at the time we thought he was an old guy dressed in sort of like a suit jacket type thing. Didn't really take much notice, but he came in through the back door, and he went into where the toilets now are.
Yep.
And then we looked, and we looked at each other, and we thought, I said, that's a bit of a cheek, isn't it? That's a bit of a cheek, this guy just coming in off the street to use the toilet. Didn't really think anything of it. We thought, oh, maybe he's got some sort of like agreement with the Mike who runs the place. But then again, it happened earlier this year when we went. The same guy was seen. Guy in a suit, blah blah blah. Gemma even took a photo of him.
Watch the website, watch the pages, because they will be coming up and they will sell out quickly. So if you want to join us at a reputedly haunted place where we've been, and we know it's haunted, otherwise we wouldn't waste our time going back there, believe us. Everything we do is 100% real, 100% authentic. We don't fake anything. If we go there and we don't get any evidence, we don't get any evidence. It's as simple as that. We don't make anything up. We're doing investigations every week now, and we're doing more. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. As Julia said, we've got like 8 places left for the end of the year and a couple of places left for the boat. And that's the paid for ones. Watch out for the Waveleys. Watch out for the Knolls and things like that. If you do want to join us, please, 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 please come along. If you want an introductory to the paranormal, then maybe start off a freebie. You know, there's enough interest. We'll start one off for you personally, won't we?
Yeah, sure. And also, we can't guarantee anything. And you might go to, like, people go, oh, why do you keep on going back to that place? Because every time we go back, something different happens. It's not a textbook. Every time we go back, something different is going to happen. We might get the same ghosts that we met last time or a few times before that, but every time is different. You can't guarantee everything. We can't guarantee what's going to happen. We can't predict what's going to happen.
Switch on and off. It's not like a light switch, and we're not like some of the programs you watch where they get stones thrown at them and pushed and everything every time. We don't get pushed and we don't get stones thrown. It just doesn't happen. If we do, and it happens, guess what? We're up for a good night, and that's when you hear the screams. You know, so you can't be fairer than that, can you? Watch some of the videos and you'll see yourself. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching us, whether it be live, joining in with the chat. Superb to see some of the comments coming through. Superb to see. I think we've had over 20 watching us at one point tonight. Thanks ever so much for joining us. If you're watching this on recorded, thank you just as much for taking your time.
Big thank you to Daniel as well for coming on, you know, and doing that presentation. That was excellent. Absolutely excellent.
That was like that really touches your heart, that does.
Yeah.
You know?
And if anybody else wants to do that type of thing, put a presentation together, you know, we're all ears. We'll listen to anything, you know, and a big congratulations to Daniel for that. Very impressed.
Well done, mate. Honestly, that was let's hope we have a bit more contact and interaction.
Yeah.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks guys, and
See you later.
we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.